the network Voltaire performed again arguments on the performance of Kofi Annan. In a recent article that the headline, Kofi Annan, Black Skin, White Masks, written by Thierry Meersan, states the following. While the balance work of Kofi Annan when he was head of the ONU was an undoubted success in administration, management and efficiency, the reviews are extremely numerous in the political arena. As Secretary General, Kofi Annan was devoted to adapt the ONU to the unipolar world and the globalization of American hegemony. He questioned the ideological basis of the ONU and deprived the organization of their ability to avoid and prevent the outbreak of conflict. However, as Kofi Annan, who has been appointed to resolve the crisis Syria, Thierry says, Qatar treats to impose Islamist leaders wherever they are given an opportunity. This strategy not only has led Qatar to fund the Muslim Brotherhood and to the service of this, the cameras and microphones of the Al Jazeera TV, but also to support the mercenaries of Al-Qaeda. The latter directed the army now free Syrians, raising serious concerns in Israel and among the supporters of the clash of civilizations.
Hello, a new instrument we incorporated into the trading strategies. The MetaTrader platform. The advantages over the previous platform are endless. For elite traders, all of them are 1. Dump data to chart. Advanced get to. Duplicate the chart. Multiple temporary spaces. 3. Execution of orders in 0.1 seconds. 4. Place orders in the market from the beginning. 5. Schedule automatic systems. Robot order. 6. Incorporation of market indices, equities, commodities, bonds and Forex. We must remember that MetaTrader is just a tool. The trader needs to win to have a balance between psychology, money management, understand the markets from the basis of analysis and tactics, strategies and systems effectiveness. Download it from www.east2009.com. Attend now to the first lesson.
Analysis for the week of 2 to 6 April 2012. Dow Jones. We see the Dow Jones made a motion to cover a range of envelope that has left at the top. Look at that floor of the chart and the low of RSI, and this divergence has been closed. This impulse has been to the zone at 13,214. And in the stop has also formed new downtrend divergences have left. These divergences are treated not only one, but also has arrears outstanding differences close. Look at that, the upward movement, that is in a phase, that is telling us after the movement of volatility, that should force a correctie. I am mentioning this divergence stops from the zone of approximately 13,050, and that was making its upward movement mentioned correction. This movement of volatility should procure a movement to look more attractive areas, but before turning should try to touch the top zone. Looking at the 30-min chart, we can corroborate what we are suggesting. Here we see that between two minimum, and there are differences between these two minimum, so formed in the area comprised between two last minimum. Here we have two differences, and in the end, is forming a new. Here among these maxima can be observed also in the RSI. We have two bullish divergences, one serrated. Therefore one is invalidated, and then we have a divergence pending closing in the ceiling zone, and other pending bearish divergence in the 13,075. As figures are not important, it will normally try to close the last of the differences, and later return to attack the zone of maximum. That's the logical move expected. We have to go to temporary spaces below the 5-min charts to find the best signal to get into this setting. The best place to get into these signals is at least the last bar, so in the zone of 13,143, in order to reach the zone 13,126. DAX. We now see the DAX in a phase of exhaustion in the movement, in which the V or HS, head and shoulder, had in the roof of the canal, as has already had its projection. The V formed at the highest divergence signal. We can be observed between these 2 points, and we are giving the first correction signal. We have no clear bullish divergence that can re-energize, and currently do not have that second leg we need to make the operation safer. We should let the graph Cronin develop a strategy when he returns to give new signals. Another connotation is valid on arrival in the oversold zone. The area surpassed the 70 in an upward trend, and it still does not give signals to open long positions. The main trend has not yet lost, and it will still set a future upward movement, but may not show a clear price targets. IBEX. The Dow has been the most beaten European markets. It raises its head, standing as we said last week below the area 8,000. You've reached the zone of 7,000, thus achieving the objectives mentioned. The minimum zone that came was 77.85. I already commented last week. Right now is in oversold area, forming the first divergence in the graph. These differences can be observed that have not yet reached the appropriate depth as to mark a rebound, just the opposite. We argued that the movement of wave 5 must be met to arrive, or is formed below the established minimum. That is, the 74.63 zone, and there we go, should be placed below that area. At present this in an upward rebound phase with the possibility of reaching the zone of resistance, which is in 79.93. And be careful, this is where we should think to put short positions, because the possibilities for a new twist upwards are quite pronounced. EUR-USD. The EUR-USD continue in the plane marking divergence the rise. Of course, you should send to the 1.4258 zone, but also at the top we have a divergence have been the last to be formed. That is, before starting to rise should be corrected. Also we argued last week that many traders think that the movement is making corresponds to head and shoulder. We have put on notice that the H&S is being formed within a downtrend. H&S normal within a downtrend that marks an upward movement, and the gap which is being observed it projects to the head area. This gap formed between the minimum that the EUR-USD will pass from the zone of 1.3340, which is where right now the top zone. The area is 1.3482, therefore suggests long positions in zone 1, 3383, with the aim of reaching the maximum, so 1.3484. Gold. The gold bullish divergences can be observed. The union of the minimum slope of the zone close at 1803. He is located in the 1667, tried to close the gap without reaching, and now is in lateral period and accumulation period to invigorate. The best option right now is trying to find positions in inferior temporal areas. Here she is, which also points to other differences in these spaces that we are saying right now. These differences will project to the ceiling zone, and for 30 min, it is located in 1694. So, long positions suggest the roof area in 1670, $2.03 above where this right now, in order to achieve much of the upward movement, even keeps the positions up to the roof of the closure of differences. Also, is supported by an inverted V and lateral movement are doing to take power, and that at any given time, will finally break the figure. Brent. By changing the platform market, also change until we activate. Also are seeing Brent Texas oil is quoted at this time to break 102.95 resistance zone, has even attempted throwback to what is now the support area. And this zone of support on Thursday carries it to attempt test without breaking, relying on her to suffer an upward movement. For those who have not yet entered the oil, there is still time, is a good area to trade in it. We see it in mine temporary spaces at 30 min, where the acceleration point is located in the zone of 103.99, that is the optimal entry point to try to revert to the maximum of the top. I'm talking about the 108.67 zone. Comma must hurry, because any time the upward movement may arise even this week. With the new platform, the ability to execute orders much faster, more enjoyable, more comfortable. Only a few words must be used to undertake to work with layer, sword and go to the bull.